Alrighty guys, so welcome to the next part of the course. We're just going to be going over charting supply and demand zones with equities. This is going to be very similar to charting with just the regular futures. So let's get into it. So you chart supply and demand the same as you do with futures, except with futures you have extended hours on. With equities, you turn extended hours off, so you only have turned on the regular trading hours. The reason we chart regular trading hours is because of the tiny amount of volume that is in the extended hours with equities. With futures, they usually have consistent volume through most of the day and night because they're actually open 23 hours per day. Although, during the day there's obviously going to be more volume than night, but it's still open 23 hours a day. It's not an extended hour. It's still the regular trading hours. So let's get into some examples here. So if we're looking at Apple, let's look at Apple. Let me remove all zones on here. So we're down here on the right hand side. There's going to be these ETH. Just want to change this to regular trading hours. And now this will just be from 9:30 until 4 or whatever when the market closes. And you basically chart these the same way. You want to start on a higher time frame, right? Start on daily, find a green basin candle for supply, followed by a drop to the downside. So like this candle right here would qualify as a supply zone. You can label it daily. There you go. There you have a supply zone. If we look up here we have a green basin candle followed by a drop, right? Not exactly twice as big of this next candle, but decent drop after that, and then we reject twice here. So there's kind of some good, that would have been a good play there. It's another daily zone. Now we chart daily demands the same way as well. So if we come over here we kind of have a nice red basin candle. This candle is definitely twice as big, a really good follow through. That's a really good daily demand. If we take a peek at that, chart that out from the bottom, you still chart it the same way. Chart it from the bottom of the wick to the top of the body for demand, and for supply you go from the top of the wick to the bottom of the body. And you see that daily demand worked out pretty well. We dropped a little below, but we never really traded below, right? Once the candle closes below, then we did kind of invalidate that. Okay, so I think that's about it for those daily zones. Nothing really in here. Now we move to 6 hour. See if there's any 6 hour zones. So nothing real clean over here. This would not be a good demand zone because this next candle drops so far below. There's nothing good in here. No real supply. This is a 6 hour supply right here. That next candle is definitely twice as big as this green basin candle. So we'll chart that out. We'll label it 6 hour. Up here, kind of have the same thing. You could say this is a 6 hour zone maybe right there. But there's not a great follow through, so I kind of like this zone. It's a little fresher. It's kind of a 6 hour zone right there. And this is a 6 hour zone as well. And usually you don't want to have huge gap downs like this. Like you want kind of a nice build into the downward trend. But when you turn on regular trading hours, a lot of times it's going to be gaps, and they still work. But like this demand zone, this daily demand that we drew over here, see how it connects real nice and smooth upflow, and the next candle is connected with it basically. That's a good sign. So that's a good sign. It's a strong zone. This isn't too bad for a daily. This isn't too bad for a daily. It's just once you get these weird huge gaps, they can be a little sketchy sometimes, but they still work. Like you see, this is also a 6-hour zone right here. That was our daily, and we came up and rejected that as well. So let's see any 6-hour demands over here. Not really. Let's check over here. This is a really good 6-hour right here. Little basin candle, nice rally. That's gonna be a good 6-hour zone. Chart that out. And you could say this as well. This red basin candle, this is kind of an engulfing candle, right? So, usually you draw it bottom of the wick, top of the body. But I'm just going to extend this down just because we did drop a little lower before that rally. And sometimes, when it drops down that low, it's not the best candle. But we're going to draw anyway because sometimes they still work beautifully. Now we'll check the 5-hour. Here's a real nice 5-hour demand on the 5-hour, as I said. Bottom of the wick, top of the body. It's a little red basin candle. Nice. It's a gap, right? It's still okay. Happens a lot. Nice rally to the upside though. No other demand right here. If we check supply, no real new supply zones. You could say this is a 5-hour zone. So since this 6-hour zone is so small, I'm just gonna extend this box down. I'll keep that 6-hour line there, so I know there's a 6-hour zone that starts there. But I'm just gonna put another line saying the 5-hour starts here. So this is just all in one box, because that 6-hour zone was only like 20 cents, so might be a little too small. And then now I'm gonna check 4-hour. Don't really see much right here. You could say this, right, is a 4-hour supply zone, but we kind of broke above it. So it wouldn't be very good. I'll have to see if we really had a lot of trading above it in the smaller time frames, but it looked like we broke well above it. So I'd probably remove this zone because we traded up at 151.7. This is at 149.8. So that's a little too far up. Not really valid anymore. Yeah, no real other 4-hour zones. Let's check the 3-hour. 3-hour again. Maybe you could say this right here. I'm not liking that one actually. This next candle had no drop. It's actually smaller than this green basin candle, so I don't like that. Here's a decent 3-hour. It's kind of inside this other daily zone, but that's okay. We can still chart that out from the top of the wick to the bottom of the body. And we'll say that's a 3-hour supply. So again, that brighter red area right here in the middle is where they intersect. And then down here, again, there's really nothing that looks really good in my opinion. Let's check over here maybe. Nothing that looks great. That's relatively close to the price. I don't want to get too far away. Now we'll check 2-hour, see if there's any good 2-hour zones. And no real demand in here. Wouldn't want to chart this out just because we dropped so far below that next candle. And you don't want to extend it down that much. Then if we look over here, nothing real pretty. I'm not liking much of this. One thing I'm noticing here, kind of have this zone right here, kind of a 2-hour zone right there. And you see how this has a big selling wick on this green candle. So it is still kind of a green basin candle, but there's a selling wick, which is a good sign if you're drawing out a supply zone, because that kind of indicates it's a supply zone with a drop, and there's also a selling wick here, which indicates sellers. And you see we actually came into this daily zone twice, right? But we rejected perfectly off of this 2-hour zone, right? So I just put a line there. And that's it for the 2-hour. So I'm going to check the 90-minute. See if there's anything here. So you can maybe say this candle, right? Because it has a buying wick a nice buying wick, nice rally afterwards. So you could draw this. I'm just going to put a line here for now. This isn't the greatest zone by any means because this next candle is like the same size as this candle. But you can draw it just in case. I'm going to put some question marks by it, just so I know it's not really the best zone you can find. Because yeah, you want this next candle to be right around twice as big as the basing candle. Let's move on to the 1 hour. See if there's anything looks good. Nothing down here. Nothing that happened today. And over here, nothing either. Looks like we're just going to be keeping these zones how they are. So this is actually the only zone I see is this 1 hour zone. Gonna have a drop, base, drop, right? Good drop afterwards. Little selling wick on this candle, which is a good sign. Just gonna label that 1 hour. And look at that. Had a nice rejection there. Nice rejection. Well, we closed in this zone and then gapped down next morning. Also created new supply, right? So that brighter red area, like if we come up into this 6 hour zone, there's a good chance we come up into this 1 hour before we start to reject. And then let's check 45 minute. Probably not going to be much here. Nothing here. Here's the 45 minute supply. Have a nice little base. Nice drop to the downside. I like that supply zone. Label that 45 minute. Haven't came up to that yet, right? But if we do, it's a pretty strong one. So I like that. And then there's no demand down here. Just gonna skip that 30 minute. Don't really see much here, honestly. Nothing that I really like. For nothing over here for demand or anything. Nothing really over here for supply. So it looks like that's gonna be it for that. So yeah, guys, that's how you chart supply and demand with equities. You basically just use regular trading hours. Usually you can find more zones than this. It just depends on the stock. Yeah, you can use this in conjunction with ES and all that stuff, but that's how you chart with the equities. So on to the next video.